I'm getting ready to peel some potatoes here. I'm making cheese potatoes today, and I'm using the recipe from my cookbook from 1973. You can tell that it's well used. The recipe calls this Pittsburgh potatoes. And I'm only going to make half the recipe because there's just my husband and me. So it calls for 1 quart of diced potatoes. So I'll only peel and dice half that amount. I've got my potatoes peeled and diced and measured out into my 1 pint measuring cup here. I'm going to put them over in the saucepan and I'll rinse them real good, then cover them with water and put them on the stove. I've got the potatoes covered with water and I've got them on the stove here to start boiling. The recipe calls for 1 onion chopped, but since I'm only making half the recipe, I've got about half a cup of onion. Now I'm going to put a lid on this and I'll bring it to a boil, and once it boils I'll remove the lid and let it cook until the potatoes are fork tender. While the potatoes are cooking, I'm going to butter an 8x8 baking dish and get it ready. My baking dish is buttered and ready to go. Every time I make these, I think about my mom. My mom used to love to make these when she was having company. It was something a little bit different from regular mashed potatoes. And it was something that she could make easily. So I'm always reminded of her when I start thinking about making Pittsburgh potatoes. I'm letting my hair grow out a little bit, so I'm wearing a headband to keep my hair out of my face. And I just realized that my mom would do the same thing. She had those thick headbands that look like yarn, and she would put them on when she was cooking to keep her hair back. There's a poem that goes, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, I am my mother after all." The potatoes have finished cooking, so now I'm going to drain the water off of them. There really wasn't that much water left, just enough for me to drain off. Now I'm going to pour the drained potatoes into the buttered baking dish. We'll spread them out so that it covers the bottom of the dish. And next I'll make the sauce that goes on the potatoes. To make the sauce, I've got my saucepan on medium heat here. And remember, this is half a recipe that I'm making. So I've got 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'll let that melt. If I were making a full recipe, it would be 4 tablespoons of butter. Now that the butter's melted, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and stir that in, and we're making a roux. I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. and a pinch of black pepper. And that's starting to turn golden brown, so it's time to add the milk. And that is 1 cup of milk, which is half of what the recipe calls for. And once that's combined good, I'll add 1 cup of shredded cheese. I have mild cheddar cheese. Sometimes I have even used sliced American cheese if I don't happen to have any shredded cheese on hand. And it's really good that way too. So now I'm going to add the cheese. I turn the heat down to low. Keep stirring it until it's well combined. I'm going to take it off the heat. I'm going to pour it over the potatoes. Trying to get it as evenly as I can, but I can spread it out a little bit. And now I'll put this in a 350-degree oven and let it bake until the cheese begins to brown. The Pittsburgh potatoes were in the oven for about 25 minutes. And even though they didn't start to brown on top, I like the way they look. So I'm going to call them done and ready to serve.